What's going on, everybody? This is Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, here to take the fear out of fitness. Guys, I'm amped up for this one because what I'm talking about right now is the rebirth of one of my favorite musicians ever. Period. Full stop. Ever since from Scenario all the way to Extinction Level Event 2, I have followed this man's career from beginning to now. It ain't over. So I'm just want to let y'all know now it ain't over, but till now. Trevor Smith Jr., also known as Busta Rhymes, he's literally like I think honestly, if I'm going to be fair, I think he is my favorite rapper, full stop, right? However, in truth, the deal is Busta Rhymes has gone through a rebirth because for a period of time of, I'd say, about 6 or 7 years, Busta Rhymes was kind of on the big side. Now, Busta Rhymes is a large man naturally, well, tall actually, because early in his career, if you actually go back into his early career, he was very thin, lanky, long, and then as his success built, his physicality built, and he was in shape. But then from what I understood is tragedy befell his family and he fell into a depression and he began to live his life outside of what he naturally intended and his health began to suffer for it. As a matter of fact, according to him, those habits actually almost ruined his career, not from a sense of like he was being unprofessional, but literally in a sense that his bad habits was ruining his voice. And on top of ruining his voice, he was literally possibly moments away from being deceased, according to him. I'm literally going from an interview that I watched with him and can't remember his name right now. It's not Vance, is it? But anyway, it doesn't matter. But I watched that interview. It was a 2 hour long video. It was right before Extinction Level Event 2 was released. And he talked about his journey to being healthier. And this is inspirational, not for me per se, but it's inspirational for me to get this message out that we as men, especially black men, need to get ahead of ourselves mentally to get out of the rut that we're in physically so that we can be the best versions of ourselves. So that we can be the best versions of ourselves, not only for ourselves, but for the people who rely on us on a day-to-day basis. And rather than me tell you the entire journey, because I probably could, I'd rather you hear it from him and Tamaron Hall for a little bit. This is going to be a reaction, not only a reaction, but me commentating specifically as to what he's doing to get healthy. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to get with it.
Busta says he's at his healthiest and he is showing off his transformation in the latest issue. Look at this of Men's Health, but he's getting there. It's a journey and he's committed to it. And now, for the first time on daytime TV, he's opening up about it all. Please welcome the one and only Busta Rhymes. It's so good to see that smile. I love it. I think I told you we were on a phone call and I said so many people can relate to this story. You had gone through great losses in your life, your manager, your father, and your life had changed in so many ways. I was curious, had you given yourself time to grieve through those losses when they happened, Busta?
I think the easiest way to deal with it for me, while being mindful to the effect of how I was showing the way I was affected by it to my family, was to kind of protect them from watching me and seeing me in my weak moments.
Yeah. Were you masking with destructive behavior to not show that weakness? Did you find yourself trying to hide it through what you now see as destructive behavior?
That's exactly what was happening. I was actually running from dealing with it by trying to run from dealing with it. And a lot of that came with drowning myself in work, which in a way I was really grateful for, having the studio and, just be in the space of those four walls where, you can actually control the environment and you can be your most brutally honest self and not have to worry about scrutiny.
Can I pick up on something, Busta? You said to control things. And I read that you said something like, at the time that you were exhibiting these destructive behavior things, you said you wanted to eat and drink and do whatever you wanted. That feeling of invincibility, is that what you were craving?
So, again, touching on some of this, when you go through things, we tend to cope differently. Everybody copes differently in how they deal with tragedy, stress, all of that. However, that does not mean that we get the right to just be destructive. And sometimes people think that I'm not hurting anyone else, I'm just hurting myself. I'm not doing anything to anybody. Why does it matter to you? The truth is, it matters to everybody around you because you're you. Busta Rhymes is loved by millions. Busta Rhymes is also loved by his family. He himself. So the reality is, he himself has experienced great loss. And I truly empathize with that because I've lost, one of my grandmothers who I was very, very close with. But the destructive part, if it hurts that bad, you losing them, how bad is it going to be someone else losing you? We don't think like that. And when I say we, I'm including myself. I'm making this shift in thinking because it's going to be better and beneficial for the people that know, like, care, and trust me on a regular basis. I want you guys to understand that what he was doing was his thought process in what he thought he needed to do in order to battle the demon of depression. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So I want y'all to realize and learn from that. So I just want y'all to realize and recognize that. So just so we go fair use, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but
I wouldn't call it invincibility. I actually think it was my place of escape. Like I didn't feel like I could be honest around my kids. I didn't feel like I could be honest around people that I was in business with. And I had the pressure of still having to function. The bills every 30 days doesn't go away because you're suffering loss of life.
Was the weight gain affecting the ability to give the fans what they wanted and what you wanted to give them?
I definitely did not let the weight impact the performance.
Wow.
But my appearance definitely affected the appeal that I had. And I knew that was happening because I was starting to hear it.
Wow. What did you hear?
I think the real moments that were cutting deep was when I started to hear the conversations from my kids. The younger one, before he graduated from high school, sometimes when I would come out of the bedroom in the morning and I would put my hand out to give him a dap on the way to the bathroom or something, and he would walk past me, and instead of slapping me on the hand, he was slapping me on the stomach. He didn't mean no harm intentionally, but it was becoming annoying to me. It was like him indirectly saying to me, yeah, get rid of this gut, Pop.
But a big moment happened on a night that you were out with your son. You had a music video out. You were celebrating the new music video. You were in the car ride home with Tazaya. and you fell asleep. And what did he say he heard and saw while you were sleeping in that car?
So, confession. When I shot that video, there's a scene of me wearing all white with a head wrap. When I initially put that all white on,
that's the Czar video.
It showed
fire song.
How badly out of shape that I was on camera. So we went in the dressing room and they duct taped my stomach down.
Oh my goodness.
With electric duct tape.
What was that like? I mean, was that a humiliating moment for you? Was it a hurtful? How did you process that?
It was difficult. It was probably one of the most difficult reality checks in my life. And this was prior to what I'm getting ready to get into about what you was asking that my son saw.
Yeah.
By the way, I never shared this duct tape in my stomach down part with anyone in this planet.
Oh.
So we get past this, we shoot the video, we complete the video. We go to a club in LA to celebrate the success of the video shoot. Mm. So we drinking and we doing too much with the drinking. And it was time to leave. When I'm on our way home, my security and my son was in the car. And in the process of driving home, I ended up falling asleep. At that time, not only was the weight an issue, but I definitely knew that I had developed sleep apnea. When you have sleep apnea, you actually stop breathing at a certain point. So I ended up taking this inhale that was so big while I was sleeping and wasn't aware of none of this happening because I'm so deeply sleeping that it scared my son.
Wow.
And at this point, we finally pull up to the house and it took them about 15, 20 minutes for them to wake me up to get me to get into the house.
So he thought.
So when people turn around and try to argue with me or argue with anyone else about being in shape and the necessities of being healthy, this is the example why it is important that you stay healthy. Now, don't get, again, healthy doesn't mean that you have to have the body of a god. Healthy doesn't mean you have to have the body of a goddess. It just means that your body is in the realm that it is meant to be in, as opposed to just simply existing. And right here, Busta Rhymes just said that his physical health got so bad that they had to duct tape his stomach in order to give him the appearance of what he usually looked like in public. Number one. Number two, after partying, inebriated, which means he has even less control over the function of his body at this point, he falls asleep. Typically what would happen when you consume alcohol, even excessive amount of alcohol, he then was gone for 15 minutes, could not be awakened. That, imagine your children, regardless of age, regardless of maturity, having to experience that. Imagine your spouse having to experience that. Put yourself in their shoes and see how it feels, or imagine how it feels. And then ask yourself, is it worth my pride in keeping myself in this position as opposed to doing what is necessary to keep myself around long term for the people that know, like, trust, and care about me? All right, let's keep going.
That I can only imagine your son and how frightening that would be. Hearing you take that breath and not knowing if this was something far more serious.
Yeah, because they couldn't wake me up. So it was starting to look like maybe it was death happening. Oh my God. I was losing my voice frequently for like the last 2.5 years and just wasn't telling anybody.
So hold on, because people love you because of your voice, and you are a legend because of your voice. So for 2 years, you had been losing your voice and you didn't know why.
Well, I didn't know why. I just wasn't telling nobody why.
Really? Because you're
Yeah,
now
so-
you're up to about 3 secrets, which is amazing. When I'm thinking about all of this, you know, you have these 2 losses, you're masking them. You start destructive behavior of drinking and eating and working hard and maybe even becoming a workaholic here. And now you're telling me, in addition to all of that, you're hiding the thing that's made you a star, the thing that you said you wanted to do from your teenage years in Brooklyn, and you're losing it and you're not telling everyone, and you know why. So you have a whole nother medical issue, a medical issue that you were hiding. What was it like hearing that not only your voice, but your life was at stake?
The next day, after my son experienced that moment with me, that was probably the most frightening moment for both of us. I had to go to the throat doctor because I had to actually travel to Dubai to do a show that Friday.
Respect to his son, first of all, to be able to be strong enough to look his father in the eye and tell him, you got to do something now. There's no tomorrow. When there is no tomorrow. We're not doing it next week. We're not doing it next month. It's now. Sometimes, especially being a Caribbean child, the reason why I say that, especially being a Caribbean child, you have been raised a certain way with your parents. And there is a point where you assume responsibility for your parents' decisions. But at the same time, when your parent is Busta Rhymes, who was also raised by Caribbean parents, relinquishment of that responsibility is not easy. All right. I don't want y'all to sit here and think that it's just that simple. It's not. I want y'all to understand that it took a lot of courage and probably a high level of desperation due to the manner of respect that he has for his father, that he had to let him know that this is not going on any longer. We're not playing this anymore. This has got to stop now. All right? So, let's go.
When that doctor saw what he saw, he immediately said, oh my God, I have to send you to the emergency room at UCLA Medical, and I need you to get in this ambulance that I'm calling for you now.
Wow.
And I said, I need you to tell me what's going on. And he says, I need you to go to the emergency room now. And I said, stop saying that to me and tell me what's happening. So he says, these polyps have grown so big that it's now blocking 90% of your breathing passage. And if I send you home tonight and you catch a cold, the last 10% of your breathing passage can possibly be blocked by just a regular swelling of a gland, a sore throat, you just catching a regular cold, and you can die tonight.
Tazaya wrote this on social media. Warms my heart to see you happy and healthy. My future children need to be able to hug their grandpa and play with him in the future. Proud of you, champ.
Wow.
I'm going to pause it there and I'm going to stop there. Here's the deal. His youngest son now is saying, I'm proud of you because now you have taken ownership of yourself. I'm proud of you because you have overcame these demons. He almost died. I want y'all to understand that. He almost died. Now, we have lost many of artists in the past, and I'm sure we're going to lose many more in the future because that's life. But Busta Rhymes is maybe 51, maybe 52, and he could have died. I don't say that lightly because, number one, I am I don't think you understand how big of a fan I am of him. I see a lot of myself in him. Growing up from New York, being Caribbean American, African American, growing up in the same type of household, similar household, and same type of family structure, I see a lot of myself in him. And in that process, I want people to understand that taking ownership of your health is not about anyone else out there. He did not do this for me as a fan. He didn't do it for you as a fan. He did it for himself and his family. If you don't have the motivation to do it for yourself, do it for your family. Nobody cares about the ridicule that you receive out in the world. That's not the point. The point is that people are looking up to you to be the best version of yourself that you can be at all times. And if that's the best you got, you might be gone before you blink. And you have to take ownership of that. You don't want to die young. And I'm sorry, 51, 52 is young. It may not be young to some of my viewers, but it is young. Most of my viewers are right around the corner from 50. They got 10, 15 years left before they're looking at the same age. And I guarantee you 10, 15 years goes by quick. So the thing that I want you to point out to you guys is that it is important for you to do these things to transform your body. For Busta Rhymes to lose 100 pounds, the man was 300 plus pounds. Like she said, 3 secrets big. It's time. I just hope you understand that it's time. And I sincerely hope that you find it in yourself to bring yourself to the point where it is incumbent upon you to be the best you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. I'll see you on the next video. Have a nice day and be the best you.